Good evening. This is the Dolores County Broadcasting Network. And today we're going to have the Cowboy Show, also known as Devin Harrison. Okay, so DCTV 4HTV News Program for Tuesday, April 23rd, 2019. Camera person doesn't exist right now, so the cameras are just on static. Video engineer, sound engineer, producer is Edward. Teleprompter and prompter is Dan. News anchor, meteorologist is Cowboy. And this is your news director, Dan. And now the news.
Welcome to the DCTV 4H Kids Evening News Show. Help us keep our news show on the air by becoming a sponsor. You can buy a sponsorship by calling 970-677-4119. That's 970-677-4119. Now for the news. Hi, I am Devin, and here's our first story from the Durango Herald. Hunting for a lake interpol isn't a sure thing. Many of our constituents are still curious about the fate of the lost hunter who broke into the entrance of a trailer at the lake Night Horse last fall. Did that poor soul survive his privations? Did he reemerge from the wilderness, or does he yet wander the foothills, or worse, do his forgotten remains molder in some dank dell? Gnawed upon by fell beasts, perhaps one of your top secret contacts in the shadowy underworld of La Plata County. Intelligence can shine a light upon this tragic incident. What happened to the Nimrod? Remember, Nimrod means either hunter or an idiot. In this case, Lake Night Horse Interpolar is pretty much both. In mid-November last year, Durango police released surveillance footage of a camo guard man with a rifle legally entering the reservoir's office trailer. He didn't break or steal anything, but he left a note saying he was lost and cold. Police wanted to find the flummoxed Gabbard, not to arrest him, but just to see if he was okay. At last, the trailer went cold despite the published surveillance video. The hunter was never ID'd. Commander Shoop. So it will be Durango's missing person enigma, kind of like D.B. Cooper or Amelia Earhart, but a lot less interesting. Come to think of it, the incident was embarrassingly pitiful. The Night Horse trailer is a mere 2 miles up a well-traveled, well-maintained county road from Bodo Park to the glow of Durango is unmistaken over Smelter Mountain. And the emergency break-in was recorded at 6 p.m., just a half hour after twilight. And the guy was hunting in mid-November without warming gear, matches, or a cell phone. Speaking of overnight interlopers, our good friend Wade Moore, the city's parking operation manager, offered some fascinating insight on the nocturnal habits of Durango's downtown wildlife. After a recent column about large pickups being ticketed for not wholly in space, Wade looked at stats for that violation versus tickets for vehicles parked in Central Business District between 2 and 5 a.m. Be sure to lock your car if you do choose to leave it downtown overnight. Some guy in camo who's lost and cold may climb in and leave you a note. Now this story's from the Durango Herald. No lie. Every now and then you send your representatives off to the state capitol and thought they would do not right when they find work. They manage to stay out of trouble long enough to do something good. It is heart-stopping, really. We told you recently about the state's new net neutrality bill, which was passed on the strength of common sense, although not without dissenters. Now Colorado is poised to do something just as practical and wise and this time with blessed bipartisan support. Does the sun still rise in the east? Apparently so, Bill Senator 166, which is through a state house committee, is sponsored by Rep. Dylan Roberts, a Democrat from Avalon Sen. Bob Gardner, a Republican from Colorado Springs, and Sen Rohan Fields, a Democrat from Aurora, what might they have to agree upon? Their bill says sensibly that if Colorado police officers lie in the course of their duties, they can never work officers in Colorado again. Can we outlaw lying by public servants? What a splendid idea. In fact, the bill stipulates that if a police officer are found to have been the truth in report, in testimony, or in an investigation, Colorado's peace officers standards and training board must revoke their certification. The officers could still take their lying carcass across state lines to find police work, but we hope not. Okay. According to the Post data obtained by Colorado Independent, about 99.5% of nearly 14,000 officers in Colorado are not fired for knowingly lying in police reports when they're testifying or during internal affairs investigations. An estimated average of 70 Colorado police officers are fired every year for knowingly lying in an official capacity. But when we delegate people to see that the laws are respected and give them broad latitude to do it, including the use of deadly force, we must hold them to an even higher standard. It is one of the ways we build trust in law enforcement, which we are obligated to do because the alternative is too awful to contemplate. Colorado may get to do that with SB 166. We hope so. Like net neutrality and unlike complicated financial schemes and poorly disguised taxes, this is the kind of work we want to see in the accomplish. It is also what some or even many legislators of both parties, good men and women, aspire to do. Governor Jared Polis has signed into law House Bill 1119, Peace Officer Internal Investigation Open Records, which says police departments and other law enforcement agencies must make publicly completed internal investigations of officers, bringing the information out of the shadows and better protecting those they are sworn to serve. The lying bill makes a fine companion. Take together they would. This story is from the Journal. Boating release very likely on Dolores River. A 2 to 4 week whitewater release from McPhee Dam into the Dolores River is very likely and expected to begin in late May or early June, Reservoir's manager told the gathering of 40 boaters Thursday at the Dolores Community Center. Snowpack in the Dolores Basin is 144% of the average, enough to fill the nearly empty reservoir and provide recreational and ecological downstream flows. Our first priority is to fill the reservoir and provide water for our users, said Robert Stump of the Bureau of Reclamation in Cortez. The exciting part for boaters is the predicted runoff provides an opportunity for a downstream release. But how long the dam release will last and the exact date will begin is unclear, as most of the snowpack is still in the mountains, said Greg Smith, a hydrologist with the Colorado River Basin Forecast Center. Runoff quantity and timing also depends on temperatures and how much will be absorbed into the soil. Whether soil moisture is below 50% average, it knocks 5% to 50% off the runoff forecast. Snowpack's total and runoff forecasts are extrapolated with modeling that relies on a series of snowpack measuring devices called SNOWTELs. In Dolores Basin, the units have historical data from 1981 to 2015. This year, there is the additional wild card of having a record dry winter last year and a wet winter this year is expected to fill back up, plus access. This is not something we have experienced, and we're not 100% sure how that will impact the runoff this year, he said. Reservoirs and rivers managers use probabilities to inform boaters on the likelihood of a dam release. According to the River Forecast Center, there is a 70% probability that Dolores River runoff will produce 40,000 acre-feet beyond what the reservoir can hold. That equals an approximate 2-week white water release flows would be around 1,000 cubic feet per second, and peak flows would be between 2,000 and 2,500 CFS. A 50% runoff probability shows 130,000 acre-feet beyond what the reservoir can hold, according to the Forecast Center, enough for approximately 4 weeks white water release beginning in early May. A spill looks very likely, said Kent Curse, a reservoir engineer. I plan for an early June raft trip, subject to change. This story is from the Denver Post. Defense funds being used for Arizona-New Mexico border wall. Well, there goes Trump again. The U.S. government is moving forward with plans to use military funds to build the border barriers in Arizona and New Mexico. The Department of Homeland Security issued waivers to environmental law last week to build and replace 46 miles, which is 74 kilometers, if you care, of barriers near Columbus, New Mexico, and 11 miles, 17 kilometers again, near Yuma, Arizona. The barriers are being funded by the Department of Defense following President Trump's emergency declaration in February. Last month, the federal government announced it had awarded contractors of nearly $1 billion to replace short barriers with tall fences in those areas. The southern border has seen an influx of immigrants over the last several months, and officials say they expect to make up to 1 million arrests by the end of the year. In an entirely unrelated story, Ukraine police have recovered a painting by French impressionist Paul Signac stole from a French museum. Police Chief Surayi Ignaziev said 1915 painting depicted the port of La Rochelle was found in possession of a man who was arrested in Kiev on suspicion of involvement in a killing. The painting is estimated to be worth 1.5 million euros, which is $1.7 million, was stolen from the Museum of Fine Arts in the city of Nancy last May. Kennedy said Tuesday that several Ukrainians suspected of involvement in the theft were arrested. Police believe that the same subjects could have been involved in the theft of a painting by Augustus Renoir in Vietnam last year. No, not Vietnam. I can't say it. Vienna, there we go. Now for dumb laws. Our dumb laws segment are actual laws still in the books in many states, cities, and municipalities. This means that these laws are technically still legal. Dumb laws in Washington cities. People may not buy a mattress on Sunday. All motorist vehicles must be preceded by a man carrying a red flag, daytime, or a red lantern, nighttime, 50 feet in front of the said vehicle. It is illegal to pretend that one's parents are rich. In Bellingham, a single-use plastic carry-out bag are prohibited. In Bremerton, you may not shell peanuts on the street. In Everett, it's illegal to display a hypnotized or alleged hypnotized person in a store window. In a line den, drinking may not occur at the same time in the same establishment. In Seattle, you may not carry a concealed weapon that is over 6 feet in length. Women who sit on men's laps on buses or trains without placing a pillow between them facing an automatic 6-month jail term. No one may set fire to another person's property without prior permission. It is illegal to carry a fishbowl or aquarium into a bus because the sound of water sloshing may disturb other passengers. In Spokane, no one may kneel on a pedestrian skywalk. Person may not wear a life jacket near the Spokane River. Safety. Now with the weather report. Our current weather comes from the DCTV, beautiful downtown Delve Creek. The current temperature is 61 degrees. Today high was 69 degrees. The low was 38 degrees. The barometer is at 29.85 inches and falling. Humidity is at 84%. Wind is between 1 and 8 miles per hour from the northwest. Gust has been up to 18 miles per hour. There was 0.10 of an inch of moisture in the DCTV weather station today. Moisture for the month is 0.02 of an inch. Moisture accumulation for the year is 5.6 of an inch. Now for the big map, courtesy of the National Weather Service. Now rain begins on the coast of Washington and Oregon. It stretches inland, covering half of Montana. Right over here, stretching into Montana, right there. The eastern 2/3 of Arizona exceeding northern eastern Great Lakes, east coast, huge areas of rain and thunderstorms. From all the way down here, all the way up there. See, there's a bunch of rain. There are more mountain areas of Colorado and northern Mexico and are receiving mix and rain, snow. We're not highly qualified enough for the elevation. And right there, that purple area, heavy snow right there. Severe thunderstorms and possible flash flooding in central Texas. Right here, yellow is thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms, and red is severe flooding. As you can see, upstate New York and most of Maine is getting rain. Yep, right over there. Now here's our DCTV exclusive 5-day forecast. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high of 68, low of 42. There we go. See, Wednesday, mostly sunny, high of 68, low of 42. Thursday, you got mostly sunny again, high of 73, low of 46. Friday, thunderstorms, high of 73, low of 45. Saturday, partly sunny, high of 72, low of 46. And Sunday, partly sunny, high of 72 and low of 44. It is getting warmer out there. Now for our snow total report, which is the amount of snow packed in the mountains across the state. We hope this will be helpful for our farmers and skiers. Now, as you can see, we have a statewide snowpack of 113%. And here's of normal, and here's our southwest at 159% of normal. Now for our climate change report. CO2, carbon dioxide, is considered a greenhouse gas and is one of the principal causes of climate change. And CO2 traps here in the atmosphere, which causes climate instability. This results in significant variations worldwide of moisture and hot and cold temperatures. But the general climate trend is that the planet is slowly warming. Therefore, it is important that we report the CO2 change. As far as CO2 numbers in parts per million. Last week was 413.59. 2 weeks ago was 413.13. 1 year ago, 410.99. 10 years ago, 388.66. And 50 years ago, 326.66. Thank you, Dr. Peter Tanz of the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, and Michael McGee of the CO2.Earth Network for this information. Remember, you can help keep our Kids News Show on the air by becoming a new sponsor. To become a sponsor, call 970-677-4119. That's 970-677-4119. Thank you. Now back to our news director.
And that is the end of today's DCTV 4-H Evening News Show. This is your news director, Dan, saying good night and thank you for watching.